In this video, I will show you how to create a Schoology Pear Deck assignment and how to launch and manage both a teacher-paced lesson and a student-paced lesson. So let's dive in. After you have completed step 1 and have an interactive slides presentation ready, you're ready to create a Schoology Pear Deck assignment. It's super easy and similar to the creation of any other Schoology assignment. First, open your Schoology course, click on Add Materials, and Add External Tool. Choose External Tool. In the Tool Provider dropdown, choose Pear Deck. Provide a title for your assignment. Leave all of this at default. And if you would like to provide a grade, make sure to enable grading and set the grade details, then click Submit. Now it's time to configure the assignment to your interactive slides presentation. Scroll down to find the assignment on your course page and click on the assignment. If you're not currently signed in to Pear Deck, make sure to do so with your school Google account. Then click on Select a File from Drive. Select your desired presentation and click on Select. Now you will be prompted to put your lesson into student-paced mode or instructor-paced mode. Let's select instructor-paced mode for this tutorial, and I will show you student-paced next. You can click on the X for the join code, as the students will join your Pear Deck assignment or lesson via the Pear Deck assignment in Schoology. At this point, if you are not ready to present the lesson to your students, exit out of the assignment by clicking on the breadcrumb at the top, and then select Unpublish for that assignment so the students cannot access. When you are ready to present the live lesson to your students, publish the assignment, and then click on the assignment to open it. Once it opens, you are ready to launch your presentation. Let's walk through the steps for doing so. Once your assignment is open on your computer, turn on your projector or TV so the students can see that screen. Next, open your teacher dashboard in the live session. The teacher dashboard is a special screen just for you, which you can use to control the entire presentation and see individual student names. It is separate from the projector view, which the class can view. You can open the teacher dashboard in a new tab on your computer, or you can open it on a separate device. I would recommend opening it on a separate device like your iPad, so you have the ability to move around the classroom while also controlling the presentation. This will also allow you to monitor students and use proximity. If you do choose to open Dashboard in another tab on your computer, I would recommend hiding it from the projector view so students cannot see individual names. This is how to do so. Click on the 3 dots in the bottom right corner of your Pear Deck assignment. You can choose to open Dashboard in a new window, or you can choose to open Dashboard in a new device. If opening on a separate device, it will look something like this. Alright, I'm now recording on my iPad to show you how to open up the teacher dashboard on a separate device. I would recommend creating a home screen shortcut for this, so that way you can just click on it and open up your Pear Deck app. Otherwise, you're going to go to app.peardeck.com, and then you are going to log in with your Pear Deck account. Alright, once you do that, the presentation sometimes launches automatically if you're in the live presentation, but if it doesn't, you'll just click on Sessions. And then as you can see, I have a live session going on right now, first day of school. So I'm going to click on this live session, and then I want to click on Open Dashboard. I want to see my teacher dashboard. All right, click on Got It. And now you're ready to start controlling your lesson in a live setting. While opening your teacher dashboard, you could prompt your students to access the assignment so they are ready to start the lesson when you are. All they will need to do is click on the assignment in Schoology to join. This is what it will look like from their side. Alright, I'm on my iPad and I'm logged into Huck Finn's test account, so I'm going to click on the test course here. I'm going to go down to find that assignment, which is right here. I click on that to open it. It will load to ask them how they're feeling today, so they can click on any of these options, or they can choose to skip, which is a nice feature to kind of check in on your students very quickly. And then it will load the first slide. The students cannot advance to another slide until you do so as a teacher when it is in teacher-paced mode. So that way they will remain on the slide that you are on at the current time. They can answer questions. You can lock the screen so they can't answer any questions at that point or change their answer. And it will not end until you place it in student-paced mode or until you end the session. Now let's go back to the teacher dashboard screen so we can look at the tools that you will use during a teacher-paced lesson. Alright, now we are back on the teacher dashboard screen on my iPad. So the slides are open here. And as I click on the different slides, it will auto sync on the student device. Up here in the top right corner, so click on Class Roster to see a full roster of the students that join your class. If you need to remove any student at any time and block them from the lesson, you can do so with the 3 dots. I'm going to close that. Down here, notice that I have notes pop up. Any slide that has speaker notes associated with it will automatically pop up here, but you can always click on the X to get rid of that. You can use your controls, the arrows down here to toggle between slides. Click on notes to see the notes again. It's showing that you're in lab presentation mode. If you need to add a new prompt on the fly, you can always click there and choose any of these prompts. I'm going to select this one, and it'll auto drop it into the presentation behind the slide that you were just on. Now notice that it automatically adds it to the session, but it's not going to make it a permanent slide within your actual original presentation. So it's just a prompt that's added to the session itself and can be viewed in your Pear Deck teacher account, but it's not going to add it as a permanent slide from here on out. So just note that. It's saying waiting for responses on my side because this is a slide that has an interactive question built in. So it's waiting for the students to respond. I'm going to open up my iPhone now and answer this prompt as if I was Huck. Hit done. Notice that in real time I can see Huck typing and that he's added his response. At this point I have some controls once the student responses start to drop in. I can star Huck's response. I can click on the comment bubble and leave him individual feedback, which will automatically pop up on his device. So test, just to show you what this looks like, send feedback. Once Huck opens and marks that feedback as read on my side, it grays out that bubble showing that he did read that feedback. And you can click on the three buttons to hide the response so that the anonymous response doesn't appear on the projector screen should it be inappropriate or anything like that. Very top left corner, you can toggle between different views for student responses. This is the list view, so as students answer, their responses will show up here with their names in a list style, or you can choose another view, which is the grid layout or overlay. It depends on whatever view you would like to see that. Depending on what type of view you choose, this view will change on the projector screen, but of course student names will not be displayed on the projector screen in class. They are anonymous. Speaking of showing student responses, in order to show that on the projector screen, you need to make sure that you click on Show Responses. Once you do that, the student responses will show on the screen, but they will be anonymous, so student names will not be displayed, but you as the teacher can still see it from your dashboard. When you're finished with showing the responses on the projector and want to go back to showing the slides, click on Hide Responses, and that will toggle it back to the slide or the question itself. Once you've presented a question and all students have answered, you can click on Lock Screens, and that will automatically lock the student's screen so they can't change their answer or provide a separate answer. This is a great feature because if you're in the middle of a discussion about the responses, the students can't change their answer. So you have that lock screen, and then of course click on it to toggle it back off. Another option is the three dots here, and there are a few options here. You can open projector in a new tab. You can turn on student pace mode, which I'll show you here in a second, or even invite a co-teacher. So that's basically it for the teacher controls from the teacher dashboard. Once you're finished with a lesson, let's say it's the end of class and you only made it to slide 19 and there are a few additional slides to go, you can assign this as homework at this point and place it into student paced mode. So to do so, you go down to the three dots and you're going to click on Turn on Student Paced. What that is going to do is going to take it out of a live lesson where you as a teacher have to be in here physically controlling it, and it's going to put it into an individual pace mode for the student to complete on their own. They can toggle back and forth between slides, they can answer the questions, and you on the teacher end can just leave the lesson, or you can stay and open it at any point, and you can actually see students working in real time if they're currently working on the lesson at their own pace. Once students complete the lesson as homework in class the next day, you can open the session again and then put it back into a live session so that at that point it syncs to the student slides again, and you now have control as far as what the students see on their screen and the pace of the lesson. Here in a second I will show you how to access your teacher dashboard or your account in Pear Deck and view those sessions and view the student paced individual responses from there as well. I would actually recommend putting a teacher-paced lesson into student-paced mode at the end of every class, not only for homework, but also for students who may have been absent and will need to access the assignment later. They will just click on the assignment in Schoology to access that assignment again. Also, if a lesson is in student-paced mode, the students have the ability to submit their work to you and automatically earn a completion grade, which is inputted into your gradebook. We will chat more about that feature in grading in the next video.
Otherwise, when you're finished with the live session, you're going to want to click on End, and you want to name your session. So that way you can find this session in your teacher dashboard Pear Deck account later. I would highly recommend calling it whatever period it is, and then maybe the day's date for that. So that way you can access that by the period and date. Publish student takeaways is very important. I have it checked here, which means it's automatically going to make a copy of the slides from this presentation and drop it into a Google Doc along with that individual student's responses. So every student in the class will automatically get an email with a Google Doc attached, which has a copy of the slides from this presentation and their individual student responses, which is absolutely wonderful because students now have a copy of the notes from the day, their answers. It's great for students with accommodations that need a copy of the notes, and all you have to do is make sure that box is checked and those students will automatically receive those takeaways. I'll show you more information about takeaways in an additional video later.
Then click on Save and End Session to exit. Once your session has ended, you can go back into the Schoology assignment to view student responses and provide feedback or grade the assignment. I'll share more information about that in the next video. We've briefly mentioned student-paced mode, but I do want to take a second to share a bit more. Student-paced Pear Deck assignments are wonderful for individual work time during class, flipped lessons, homework, online lessons, etc. They allow students to navigate through the slides and answer questions at their own pace. The teacher can still view their work in real time if desired and all of the responses. Plus, students have the option to submit their work at the end and automatically receive a completion grade in the gradebook. You will follow the same steps for creating a Schoology Pear Deck assignment as we covered earlier in the video. However, when you are prompted for the desired mode, make sure to choose Student Paced. Students will access the assignment by clicking on the assignment in Schoology on their side. Once they open the lesson on their side, they'll be able to toggle between the slides at their own pace and answer the questions at their own pace. From the teacher dashboard, if you have students that are working in real time as you're viewing your dashboard, you can scroll through the slides and actually see how many students you have on each slide. And if you click on the number in the bottom left corner, you can see specifically which students are on that slide. That way, if you see that a student is stuck on a slide for an extended period of time, you can send them feedback or check in with them to see if you can help. Once a student answers a question, you can see their responses pop up in real time, and of course use your feedback features there to provide help or redirect their learning. Don't forget to use your class roster at the top to see who has joined your session and even what mood they're in if you need to check in on them. If you go down to click on the three dots in the bottom right corner and you wish to leave the session, you can certainly do so. It will not end the session for the students and they will still be able to access these slides and answer the prompts until you actually end the session. Once you end the session, they will not be able to have access to the slides or answer the prompts at that time. To put a student-paced lesson into instructor or live-paced mode, you can click on Turn Off Student Pace, and this will put it back into live instructor-paced mode. That way, it will auto-sync the slides to the student devices, and you'll be able to control the pace of the lesson. When you're finished, hit End. You can leave and allow students to keep working, or you can exit and end the session altogether when all students are finished. Two important notes about student-paced mode. You can have as many student-paced lessons open as you desire. They will close after 30 days with no student activity, but you can leave those open, and as long as there's student activity, they will remain open. The second thing to note is that if you make a change on your original slides presentation, that change will not reflect on the student side if a student-paced lesson or a live lesson is already launched. So if you have to make any changes to your original lesson that you want to show on the student side, you will have to relaunch that lesson. That's it for this video. Please proceed to the next video to learn how to provide feedback and use grading features.